We are approaching the Jewish New Year, the Jew Year, as it's known in contemporary terminology. In just a couple weeks, it's pretty brutal. This is the New Year approaching 5,785. That's a lot of years since the universe started. This counting from the creation of Adam, the first man, which happened 5,785 years ago, and the creation of the entire universe was only 6 days before the creation of Adam, the first man. And each of those 6 days was only 24 hours, not that many days. Actually, we still have a few more weeks before Rosh Hashanah, before the New Year. But still, it's coming up relatively soon, within a few years. So yeah, I mean, the universe was created on the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Elul, which is the last month of the year that we're in now. And then 6 days after the universe was created, then Adam, the first man, was created. And basically, the creation was pretty intense. It was creation from absolutely nothing at all. And then once he created it from nothing, then he created the first existence, which is called, in the Ramban, he quotes Greeks for some reason, that is called the Hiyuli matter. The initial first he made the first existence, and from that first existence, he made everything else. It says, on the first day, it says, after he created the light, it says there was evening, morning, it was one day. It does not say it was the first day, but it says it was the one day. It was the day of oneness, because even though there was the first existence of the world, which had like the potentiality of the world that was created, but everything was one and united with the Creator, because everything had an essential unity. So that essential unity is the initial stage of what the universe is. Everything is united with the Creator. And that's the true existence of what everything is, which is the idea of the light, like the revelation where people could openly realize that the Creator is in everything. So that's like the default state of the world, is unity. Then only afterwards, throughout the other days of creation, he made like the separation of the heavens and earth on the day 2, and then the other creations were each put in their specific spot. But the main idea of creation is the essential unity. But then, as the days went on, there was more division that seemed to be created. There was different animals, difference between the water on the earth and the water in the heavens, different stars. So like a lot of different stuff happened after that first day. But the first day is unity. But then, by the time Adam came around, by the time Adam was created on the 6th day, there was a lot of stuff. Lots of creations were already made. And it seemed like the world was kind of like lacking that essential unity that it had originally. But then that's why he created Adam. That in order that people should be able to reveal that initial unity in the world. This is from the Krisichus, roughly based in the Parshas Noach. I forgot the exact volume number, but if you actually want to know, you could contact me theoretically. And I may or may not back up what I'm saying, if you actually want to know. So basically it says, once Adam was created, then it's like the job of Adam, through the commandments that the Creator gave Adam, was to reveal the unity back into the world. But the unity should be through the efforts of people from within the world itself. The initial unity was just the unity of the light that was created from the Creator, but then the main purpose of the world is to be able to reveal the unity even from within creation, not only from the Creator to reveal the unity, but for people with their own efforts to reveal the unity. And that's why the Creator gave us commandments. It says the Creator of the universe created Adam, and he gave him 6 commandments. In the Talmud, it goes through the verse that says, from all the fruits of the garden you may eat, but not from the tree of good and evil. But basically, it sounds like it's only one commandment, just don't eat from the tree. But in that verse, it's alluded to 6 other commandments that were, it's mentioned in the Talmud, how it's alluded to that, which we know from Moses at Mount Sinai, which maybe we'll talk about later. But the point is that Adam was commanded 6 different things, not only not to eat from the fruit, but 6 initial universal laws of morality for how to make a functioning society. And they were basically like not to worship false gods, only to know about one God, not other powers, and not that anything else has any power. even though angels exist, but the angels don't have any free will of their own, etc. Just to know that all the forces of nature are only from one God. And then there's also not to blasphemize the name of God. And then there's also not to steal property from others, or basically. And then there's not to murder other people as well. It's bad for the environment. And then also not to commit certain immoral marital acts. Only a man and a woman can be married, not other entities. And people are not allowed to marry their immediate relatives. Cousins are totally fine, technically speaking. And according to these initial laws, technically, a man can marry multiple wives. Technically, it doesn't say not. But and then another law was to establish courts of justice. These were all given to Adam himself, according to the Talmud, to establish courts of justice to enforce the other laws. That the laws should not be just optional, like, should I steal, should I not steal, just let everyone decide for themselves. But no, like, every one of these laws should be actually enforced because the Creator commanded it. This is how the world existed for about 1656, I want to say, years, until the times of Noah came along. Then, by the time of Noah came along, people were, like, breaking these laws. They were, like, doing a lot of bad stuff that they weren't supposed to do. And pretty much all of flesh was, like, corrupted, so the Creator wanted to, like, destroy the world, essentially, to restart. And by making the Creator could have destroyed the world using fire, or just by blinking it into non-existence. Or not only that, but it says that the Creator is, in the Kabbalah, in the book of the Tanya, part 2, it says that the Creator is actually speaking all of existence into reality every second. That creation is not only a one-time thing, but the Creator is also speaking constantly the words of creation, where he said, let there be this, let there be that. Those initial words of let there be that made creation happen, those words are constantly being spoken every second by the Creator. And those words are found inside of everything in creation, and those words are constantly bringing all of existence into being from absolute and complete nothing every second. Such that if the letters and the words and the spiritual power of the words would be removed from the creation, Chas v'Shalom, for even 1 millisecond, it says everything would cease to exist instantaneously. So if the Creator wanted to destroy the world, he could have just stopped creating it. But he wanted to specifically destroy it with a water in order to purify the world, because water is associated with purification. It's like, I will sprinkle onto you pure water and you'll be purified. And the idea of a mikvah, a ritual bath in Judaism, is a purification process. If someone has some kind of, like, if they come in contact with a dead body or other certain stuff, and they wanted to enter the temple, then they could go into a ritual bath. And there's other reasons for ritual baths. But the point is, water not only clears physical impurities, but also spiritual impurities can be purified through water. So the Creator basically wanted to purify the world and elevate it to a new state of being that would make it possible to settle permanently. So that's why he made the flood, and then he gave people the chance to repent, because it took Noah about 120 years to build the ark. First of all, he told Noah to make an ark, in case you didn't know. And he told it to, basically, told him to make it, but he knew that it would take a long time to make it. So Noah, after he told him to make it, Noah had to grow trees from scratch, and he had to wait 70 years, I'm pretty sure, for the trees to grow, which was a long time. And then he had to cut down the trees, make all the planks, etc. So it was a lot of work. I don't think anyone was allowed to help him, not even his own sons. So he had to do everything himself. It took 120 years to build this ark. And what does ark mean? Ark does not mean boats. Ark means a box, a rectangular prism. The ark it did not have a rounded bottom like most boats. It was a box that had a slanted roof, but the bottom of it was square. And essentially, the animals came into the ark, basically, but not all the animals. It says only about 2 of each, sometimes maybe more than 2 of each, but no less than 2 of each. But it says that some animals actually were corrupted as well. That animals would mix species with other animals, and they created all kinds of weird mutations and stuff. And some people say that that's where dinosaurs come from the mutations that the animals made. So a lot of animals were left behind, but only the animals that were pure, meaning pure in the sense of not mixed species, were allowed in the ark. But when it came to kosher animals, which are also called pure, so not to confuse the two, there were 7 of each of those. And then, essentially, what were we even talking about? I kind of lost the train of thought. But we're talking something about the creation and then... Oh, yeah, the laws. So originally the Creator gave 6 laws to Adam. Until the times of Noah, about 1656 years later, I think. Then, when the Creator restarted the world with the times of Noah, and then Noah's sons got on the ark, and then the flood lasted for about a year. And then after they got off the ark, then it was like a new world. Noah looked around, he saw the world was purified, refined, in a way that you could reveal the Creator in the world in a permanent way, such that it would never be destroyed again. And in order to ensure that, the Creator gave Noah an additional commandment, essentially reaffirming the 6 commandments from Adam, plus adding a new commandment not to eat meat, that you could eat meat. Earlier they could not eat animals at all, but now he said you could eat meat as long as you don't rip a limb off of an animal while the animal is still alive. So that was the new commandment added, and also other commandments were reaffirmed, like not to murder was reaffirmed. In fact, the verse that it says not to murder people, it says do not kill a person inside of another person. That's the literal translation of that commandment, and that's actually the original source for not doing abortions according to the Torah, because the Talmud says do not kill a person in a person. The only example of you have a person that's inside of another person is a fetus, and so the original commandment for not murdering is actually saying don't kill a fetus, because a fetus is a person inside of another person. And from that we could derive that just like we can't kill a fetus, we also can't kill other innocent people. So that was reaffirmed after the times of Noah. And then there was 7 basic universal laws. That is the point that I'm trying to get across. When people talk about Judaism and the Torah, they think that only the Jews have commandments, but no. According to the Torah itself, all of humanity has 7 basic universal laws of morality. Originally, 6 were given to Adam when he was first created, and then a 7th was added to Noah. And then, about 10 generations after Noah, came this person called Moses. And at Mount Sinai, which we can talk about, Moses was also commanded about these 7 laws again, but in a new way. So maybe we'll elaborate on that, but we have a comment. Do you want to come up, Ezra? Does the law of not cutting flesh... Does the law of not cutting flesh from... I'm not sure what to say. Extend to all animal abuse, or is it literal? It is literal. I'm not sure if it... I mean, there isn't... The Torah also says not to cause unnecessary pain to animals as well. I'm pretty sure that refers to all humans, but I should double check that. At least for Jews, they're not allowed to cause unnecessary pain to animals. That's definitely true. It's a very severe prohibition. I'm pretty sure it also applies to noahides, but I'm not... unnecessary pain to animals. That's definitely true. It's a very severe prohibition. I'm pretty sure it also applies to noahides, but I'm not sure if it's part of the same prohibition. Necessary. Definitely eat meat. Eating meat is not a problem. If there's a benefit, if there's like a legitimate benefit that an animal would give to people or society, then there's no problem with it, even if it causes a little pain. But they should not give extended pain to animals without a genuine purpose. So that's definitely a very severe Torah prohibition, not to cause unnecessary pain to animals. But the animals were created to help people serve the Creator. So if there's a necessary need, or even not even a need, but if there's a necessary use that people could use from the animals, like making like leather mats or leather clothes, or eating meat because they like eating meat, or because it's healthy for them, or if it's cheaper, definitely it is allowed. Basically. So we're talking about in the times of Noah. And by the way, anyone who wants, they can come up as a guest and talk about anything they want. I'm just trying to give some buffer space. So the point is that first Adam, the first man, was created 6 days after the universe was created. Again, we're trying to get back to the main point of unity. So originally, the first day of creation, he said, "Let there be lights," and then it says there was light, and then it says, as we said earlier, it says evening and morning. It was one day. It does not say it was the first day. The other days it says it was the second, third, fourth, but the first day does not say it was the first day. It says it was the one day, because Rashi in the commentary said this was the day of unity when the light was created. There was still the world in a general sense, but the light completely overtook the world and it was all unity. Then when Adam was created, it was all division, until the Creator gave Adam commandments, and through the commandments, the people they can reveal the unity of the Creator in the world from below to above, from within creation itself. Anyway, that was a nice monologue. Get that one on for a few hours. Now let's get to our first guest.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Joshua? Joshua.
Not shit. Just trying to play some Dead Rising before the remake comes out.
Interesting. Not familiar with that, but nice to meet you. Do you have any questions about anything? Judaism?
Yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
What was that?
What were you talking about before?
Well, I started talking about how the Jewish New Year is coming up in a few weeks, and then what does the New Year actually commemorate? It commemorates the day that Adam, the first man, was created. And then we were talking about like the purpose of creation. When Adam was created, he was given commandments. He was given 6 commandments, not just one. I mean, the verse says, "Don't eat from the fruit of the garden," but in that verse, the Talmud says it's alluded to 6 other commandments of how to make a functioning society, and then through those commandments, people have the power to like reveal the infinite light of the Creator in the world and create like unity in the world, etc. And then we're just explaining that. Pretty much.
Nice. So, do you think that all monotheistic religions kind of at the core believe that they're praying to the Creator of the universe?
Well, it depends what you mean by monotheistic, because people could interpret that. What do you mean by what specifically does monotheistic mean? First of all,
isn't it the belief in one Creator, one source of all creation?
Yeah, and not only one Creator, but only one manager of the world. Meaning, like, not to believe that even after the creation, that there's no other forces that like manage things, like no force of nature. So I mean, yeah. How many monotheistic religions are there? I mean, just Judaism.
I don't know. I think there's Christianity, Judaism.
Yeah. I mean, many people would argue Christianity believes in multiple gods because they have like 3 kind of thing, three people going on. So it might be kind of controversial.
Yeah, it's almost like an author and the connection like an author has with a novel that he's written. Like he wrote himself into the novel. So, he could both be the creator and creation at the same time. He can be both inside creation, like experiencing all people's emotions and feelings, and outside creation at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but
like he can feel when people are crying or when people are happy. Like he feels those emotions along with those people. Yes. I believe.
Yeah, but that's different than what Christianity says. It says there's actually 3 people with 3 different bodies. I mean, that's kind of more controversial than just saying the Creator feels things.
Well, the way I describe it is, Jesus was a person. You know what I'm saying? But he was a self-realized person. Like the only difference between Jesus and you is that Jesus knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus knew he was a divine being, and that's what we don't know. We think that we're just humans. We don't understand that we are behind this. What's communicating to you through my body is a divine being. And I'm talking to another divine being that's behind you. Like the thing operating your body is a divine being as well. So everybody on the planet is a divine being, and that's what Jesus was trying to allude to, is that, you guys are all divine, so you guys should treat each other as such. You should love each other as one another, as one divine essence. Okay. So in a way, yes, he was human. He was a human, but he was a self-actualized human.
I'd like to stick with Judaism if we can, unless we could do briefly. But I may want to stick with the Judaism says. But yeah, speaking, did you want to add anything?
I always find it interesting when Christians come up and talk about how he's such a divine being. When it clearly states that the Messiah isn't supposed to be some divine being. He's supposed to be a leader of men, a leader of Israel. And all of a sudden to equate Jesus as this sort of divine entity being, whatever you want to call him, I find it to be counter to Judaism.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, exactly.
very religion that Jesus would have followed.
Are you coming at it from the Christian perspective, or do you have another perspective you're coming at it from? Let me ask.
You're asking me?
No, Joshua.
Oh.
You there?
Yeah, what was that again? I forgot what we were talking about.
Like from the Christian perspective, or are you coming from like different religion, if I may ask? Just to clarify.
Yeah, I guess I'd be looking at it from like the way Christians would view Jesus, because Jesus, he clearly didn't want to go through with the punishment or whatever, the whole thing that he had to go through. So he was fully human in that sense. Like, he didn't like pain. So he was like, dude, if there's any way we can like skip this whole crucifixion thing, like, can we do that? But he goes, ultimately, whatever you have written down for my fate, let it be. But if we could skip it, like, I don't want to be put through this. But I'm interested in from a Jewish perspective. What is your thoughts on Jesus?
We don't believe he was any kind of special person any more than anyone else.
I never asked a Jewish person that. Like, what do you think of Jesus?
I was trying to answer. So he's not a prophet, not the Messiah, not anything special, more special than anyone else, essentially.
Just a dude that got nailed to 2 pieces of wood.
So he's just like a civilian. There's nothing special about him. He's not even like important like a president is. Like, he's just some dude.
Not
some dude, yeah.
Even close. He's just an NPC.
Okay. I mean, then what's the big fuss? Like, how did he manage to trick everybody to get into? Like, is this like a deception of the Catholic Church for like a power grab? They created this kind of Santa Claus character of Christ.
You got to talk to the church fathers at Nicaea, who decided to turn Jesus into the demigod.
I
mean, I can totally get that. I can totally get how they could do that.
Hold on, wait.
Hey, Nathaniel, do you want to say anything? Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me here. Hey, I was wondering, are you familiar with I think it's Psalms 22, verse 6, that says, "I am a worm." In the Hebrew, it's actually a scarlet worm.
Okay, cool.
And the I think it's Tola Halt or something like that. It's a crimson. Yeah, well.
Wait, what verse is it? Verse 6? No, it's not verse 6.
Yeah, 22:6.
7. It's 7 in my book. It's verse 7.
Yeah, that's Tanakh, I guess.
I'm a worm and not a man. Yeah, what's the point of that? Like you're saying, just in general, or what? What was the point that you wanted to say with that? Nathaniel, you there? Guess not.
Here.
Yeah, Nathaniel,
I'm right here. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what was the point with that?
Yeah, it's actually a scarlet worm. If you look into it, it's a scarlet worm. It's a
What's the point?
It's a worm that looks like a whirly-poly, and in Israel, they actually, I believe, they use that worm because when they boil it, it releases like a dye that they use on the tabernacle of Moses.
Okay, well, is there a specific point why you pointed that out?
Yeah, because this points out to the exactly what Jesus did, Yeshua did on the cross. Because this little worm, she goes to where there's wood, and then lays his babies, hardens her body, and then she splats this red dye on the wood. But she has to go where there's wood, a branch or a log, and then this.
Right, this is just ridiculous.
Yeshua said that he was pointing to Psalms 22. That Psalms 22, not only the scarlet worm identifies with what he did on the cross, but also that's the hymn. See, like in Psalms 22, it says that they cast lots for my garment. right? And when Yeshua was on the
One
cross,
second. Let's just
the
one second. Just stop for a second. What is the argument you're trying to make? You're bringing in Psalms for sources. What are you trying to say? What is the point that you're trying to say? I don't think you guys have
The cross that pisses me off is that this idea that Jesus took on the sins of the world. And it clearly states in Devarim 24:16 that no man can die for the sins of another man.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, so there's no kind of justification process in your view of like what is God? What is your view on God from a Jewish perspective? What is God like?
God is this. The Maimonides discussed this in the laws of the foundation of the Torah, chapter 1. God does not have. God is essentially the unformed, omnipotent foundation of all existence.
Yeah, so everything the supreme that exists, source of all creation.
Everything that exists not only originally exists from the Creator, but constantly, every second, is being created. The Creator is the foundation and the pillar of all reality, who has no body and no form, all powerful, all knowing. He knows everything simply by knowing himself. He does not need to know. He does not have a knowledge that's an external knowledge. When a person has a knowledge, they're a person, and they have knowledge, and they also know about something else. They see something else, and that other thing is in their mind, and that mind is processed by them. So there's three different things. There's a person, there's the mind, and then there's the other thing they're thinking about. But when it comes to the Creator, all those things are not separate things. The Creator just knows, and he knows reality because everything is just from himself.
So the Creator is just one thing. So from that, this experience, everything is one, right? So I mean, it's just an illusion that I'm separate from everything else around me. And I think that science,
in a sense, but it's not really because
has figured that out too. Is that everything is made up of the same gobbledygook, right? So basically, he's a solo, omnipresent, omnipotent being that is just supreme and always has been, and he's just always been, right?
Yeah, time itself is a new creation that did not always exist. Even the concept of time passing is not a permanent
So this
thing.
is like a frequency, like a radio frequency. Like imagine a radio, you tune your radio to radio stations. Imagine this is like just one of those radio stations that 8 billion of us are tuned into simultaneously right now. But that radio station is running off of a frequency, and that frequency is God. So yes, we are experiencing this experience, but it's running off that God frequency. Like the universe wouldn't run if God wasn't running it. You know what I'm saying? If God had nothing to do with this universe wouldn't run. Because nothing exists outside of God.
That's true, absolutely. Yeah, that's very accurate. Hi, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah,
good. What's up?
You just mentioned before God knows everything. So when he created man, he saw eventually that he's sad, and then he has to create a mate for him. So he created every creature which able to produce. What was the plan for the man?
Yes. The plan was that he would have a mate.
But this is not how he created.
Yeah, but he did after. I mean, the Creator knows everything, but he also does things through the process. The creation happened through 6 days, even though he could have just thought it into existence instantaneously, because he knows everything is all powerful, but he also, for whatever reason, he wants things to follow like a certain process, a certain storyline. That things should also make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, because when he saw Adam walk in the Garden of Eden from the second story of the creation, he saw that he's sad, and then he decided, okay, so he needs to have also mate like everybody else. Then he created Eve. He put him to sleep and created Eve. Otherwise, if the man was happy, he would not created Eve. So how the man was supposed to produce? or just live forever as one single person entity.
The creator knew that he would not be happy, and he knew that he would one day. So that's why. But he let things happen through the natural
But
process.
you understand, it doesn't make sense because, according to the story, God was surprised. It's like he didn't know that. Because
God was never surprised. He acted like he was surprised, but he was never surprised.
also, the
by anything.
creation that he destroyed and he basically rebuilt the creation again. If he knew that that will be a bad
Yeah.
creation, why he wants to create this creation?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about originally. The creator knew that it was going to happen, but he wanted to make the world in stages. He wanted to make first one stage of the world where people live for a long time and just let people do anything they want. And that was like an infinite light of the creator, which is like because of the creator's abounding mercy. That's like the first stage, and then because there was like an abundance of the creator's light since the beginning of creation. Was like it, and then eventually the creator wanted to have like a process. Once we have this stage,
you can say that about every.
Purify to have like a new stage of the world where we have like more severity, etc. So the purpose of the flood was in order to purify the world with water of purity, so that it would be elevated. So it's essentially like if you're making a factory. First, you have an assembly line that give one thing, and then next you have people do another thing. So I mean, you can say, oh, why can't the creator just make a thing already done? Because he wants to do things in a logical process for people to understand as well. Even though he could just do anything, but there's still a certain process he follows. Just like he created the world in 6 days, he created the history of existence in different stages. First, we wanted to have this stage in order that should lead to another stage to make logical sense of things. Yeah, I'm not sure if you know how to unmute yourself.
Do you think that it's like that life is almost like a voyage, that there's a destination, that it's like a cruise ship, and we weren't told where we're going, but we know we're headed somewhere because we're at sea. And, we're like, everyone on the ship has a different view of where that ship's headed, but they know that they can't get off the ship, and they know that they're going to reach their destination one day. And the ultimate, whether it be paradise or just some, shitty island, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're on a ship right now, and everything's going to be revealed in the end, our destination. Do you think that that's what life is, or do you think that it's subjective?
Jonathan, why are you saying that? What's the evidence that we are on ship?
Well, it's a metaphor for life and death, and death is the destination that we're all gonna be revealed. We all will go there one day and see what happens after this. So everyone has their own interpretation and idea of what that destination might be. I'm just saying, do you think it's a solid, permanent destination, or do you think it could be subjective, and that the Jewish people are going to their heaven, the Muslim people are going to their heaven, the Buddhists are going to their whatever they believe? Or do you think it's a one solid truth that we will all be smack dab with at the end of this?
Yeah, so in the Torah, the ultimate purpose is not to go away from the world into the heavens, but the ultimate purpose is to live in this world forever, eternally. After the Messiah comes, there's going to be this era of the resurrection of the dead, where people who already passed away in the past, they will come back down to the same bodies that they had, and those bodies will be miraculously recreated from the dust and live forever in the physical world. So this physical world is the ultimate purpose of everything, and that's where everyone will be when the Messiah comes. It's going to be an era of eternal abundance, eternal life, world peace, infinite abundance. And basically people won't need to eat or drink or anything.
So how old will people be, and won't it be overpopulated? Like, wouldn't it say everyone resurrected and they were all 20? Wouldn't we need a bigger world?
A lot of the righteous people will resurrect. I mean, the world has enough resources to keep a huge amount of more people than we have now. We have infinite resources. The Creator made it such as
will we still eat, and we'll still mate and procreate. And if we procreate, then the babies, they're infants and they grow up. What are they just protected from? Being unalived and drowning, and you know what I'm saying? Say there's a new Earth, and everyone's in their 20s. Is there sex then? You know?
Well, I'm trying to answer you. People will not need to eat or drink, but they still could if they wanted to. And people will not pass away at all. They will be immortal.
Okay, so they can choose to like jump on trampolines and go skydiving. Like, what happens if you jump off a cliff in that new Earth?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably they would,
You know what I'm
maybe,
saying?
maybe
Because I mean, this experience, you're in your sensory suit. So if you are just regenerated into a sensory suit again, like then that sensory suit, if you jumped off a cliff, it would still splat.
What about Superman?
So would you be able to fly in that new Earth? Like, would you in this? Let's just say that's the truth, and that's what happens. Like, would you be able to, you know, manipulate reality in that from that mindset?
I'm not sure about the flying, but I know that they're going to live forever.
Yeah. So I mean, and God's presence would be in there, right? Like, say the new Earth, God's presence would be. It wouldn't be like right now where, you know, you kind of feel alone when you're in a room.
Yes, God.
Like God's love and radiance would be.
The creator and everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
We look. Yeah. Yes. Very cool.
That would be crazy, and that would be wild if that's what happened.
Yeah. No, but in Kabbalah, we believe the Creator is constantly creating everything with His speech every second in everything, but we don't see it openly. We can't really realize that the Creator is in everything every second. Yeah. But when Mashiach comes, it says, like, will be lifted, and we'll be able to see with our physical eyes.
I think the veil's been lifted, dude. I've peeked behind that veil. I peeked behind the veil quite a few times, and basically he just shows me a mirror, or it just shows me a mirror, because I've been seeking, because I know that there's a God, because I see him around everything. Like everything in my living room, from my PlayStation to my flat screen, it wouldn't be there without a creator. So I don't need the creator of these things to know that there's a creator. So when I look at the trees, and I look at flowers and fruits and vegetables, and I look at myself, the evidence is clear. I am the result of some kind of, like a watchmaker, or like a potter. I'm something's creation. So I've seeked out who that creator was, and with all my might, I wake up and I just ponder, and I've pondered for 15 years. Just pondering, like, dude, what is this? Why am I here? The evidence is there. You know, it's like seeing a bear print in the mud. Like, I know there's a bear around. So I'm searching for this quote-unquote bear. And, dude, I've seen behind the curtain. Nobody's going to believe me. But I've seen behind the curtain. I've seen behind the veil. You guys aren't going to believe me, but whatever. He just showed me a mirror.
Yeah.
He just said, dude, you're it. You are divine. Like, this is God having a divine experience right now. Like, there's nothing outside of right now. Right now, there's nothing outside of this. There's no other timeline. Right now, God is at play. And he is playing humanity from behind your eyes. And that's the truth. You know, because you agreed with me that nothing's not God, right? This universe doesn't run without God. That God is literally what the universe runs off of, like a radio station.
This isn't logic. This is just some weird.
Well, I mean, you believe at your core you're a being of light, right? You believe that your spirit is a pure essence, right? And your body, yes, your body wants these things and longs and likes getting massages and stuff and gets hungry and eats. But the thing that's operating inside that...
Before you continue further, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Before we continue further, Osmos, is there something you want to talk about in Torah, per se? You want to get the conversation back to Torah, Tanakh?
We could, I mean, it's okay now.
Yeah, what does the Torah say about who you are at your essence?
Yeah, I mean, every person has a soul, which is like, I mean, all humanity has what's called like the Selim Elohim, like the image of the Creator. It's not a physical, because the Creator doesn't have a physical body, but it's like the intellectual power to like recognize the Creator and the power of speech, etc. And the idea is like the commandments that the Creator gave humanity is like the way that humanity can connect to Him essentially. I actually have to go, but I can come back maybe in like an hour or so. But just to finish off, the idea of what we were talking about is first we were talking about how the Creator made the worlds with the light, and that the first day it says doesn't say in the Torah that it was the first day. It says it was evening and morning, one day. Which means that the first day was like a day of unity, where everything, even though the world existed, but everything was united. There was no like different differences within creation. So that's like the ultimate state of the world is the ultimate unity of the light. Even though there is a world that should be united, but then once the time Adam was created, there was a lot of other creations, and it seemed like there was too much, and the unity was kind of forgotten. But that's why it says in some of the commentaries that's why the Creator gave commandments to Adam and the people, in order that we should reveal the unity from within the world, that we ourselves should reveal the unity. Not only the Creator should reveal the unity, but through the commandments, we can become partners of the creation. So I would encourage everyone to learn about these 7 laws of Noah, the 7 laws of universal morality, which are the path that people have to be partners in creation.
Nice. So ultimately, when you follow these commandments, you become almost in union with your true self as the light, as this kind of divine essence of love. Because I mean, then once you've been completed by following the commandments, you are literally walking in God's laws, and you are following those laws to a T. So then you become almost like a pure soul, a pure spirit.
Yeah, in a sense, and not only you, but also the world itself is elevated through the commandments. Yeah, that's the main idea of the commandments, not only for oneself to be elevated, but to reveal the unity
It's
of the
like
Creator.
we're all like candles, right? And when Adam bit the apple, it's like somebody blew out the birthday candles. And by following the commandments, you light that candle back up, and then you're telling people to act accordingly to light the candles back up.
Interesting analogy. Yeah, I have to make a phone call to someone, but maybe if you guys message me or follow, we can reconvene maybe in like an hour or so.
All right, dude. Well, hey, it was nice talking to you. I learned a little bit of the Jewish faith.
Yeah, we'll come back.
It's interesting. Man.
Yeah. Very. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go now, but we can join again later. See ya.